Well, I guess I should take you because I started with you, right? Okay. Yeah. So come lie. I think I'm going to do a demo on the floor today. So come lie on, which side do you prefer lying on?
Usually Marlock.
Okay. So come lie on your right. And let's give you some padding.
Thank you.
Is that enough?
No.
Beautiful.
Okay. So you've given me the more easily, the side that you sense more easily is your left side. Is that correct?
Left lower, yes, but probably right.
Oh, aren't you the tricky guy? Okay. So I don't really actually even know your story, but I'm not going to have you tell me now because when somebody tells you their story, they get hypnotized into that whole, remember we talked about that last week, they get kind of hypnotized. So he's just here, but the left side, you think the left lower is easier. So, all right. So first of all, I'm going to take Joel's idea, one of Joel's ideas. So glad Joel could make it today. Morning, darling. Okay. So just a little bit, take everything together and feel Ray like that. And I don't want to give a really long demo, so I'll just give an indication. Just do things a couple of times to remind, kind of to review, so you have time to work. So what we started with the shoulder, right? Forward and back. We're not going to do the egg beater today. We're not going to do this business with the, because you've mastered that. You did it twice. Take his shoulder forward and back. Now we showed you from above the head, I think, the shoulder, but once you find it from above the head, you can find it from here as well. Shoulder forward and back. I'm going to bend his arm. Maybe I'll put that back. Pelvis general, not so much from the hip joint right now, but it's pelvis forward and back. And if one of my intentions is what I said last week, to give the person a chance for me to listen to Ray listening to himself, then I'm going slow and I'm pausing between the forward and the back. And I'm going somehow at a speed that his system seems to dictate. That's hard to put into words, but that's something you sense when you pay attention to their breathing and your own breathing. You kind of feel something about their pace. All right, now, so when taking his pelvis forward is pretty easy. But now I want to see if we can differentiate more. I have to work a little bit to take him back. So he likes to be a little bit rolled forward right now. So I come back. This is taking everything together. And actually I stole this idea from Joel last week because he was doing this and I said, that's not what I showed. He said, well, I couldn't move her pelvis, so I decided if I moved everything together, I could get the pelvis to move because I'm into fixing people. And so I said, well, don't fix them, but it's a great idea, so let's do it. Okay, it's actually a good idea. Because he thought, well, if I can't move it by itself, if I go to the undifferentiated movement, it's going to move. And he was right. Look how much movement there is there in the undifferentiated movement. twice as much as the differentiated movement for Ray right now. So that was really, I stole it on, when I see something good, I steal it on the spot. Even if the person's motivations were questionable.
To take his motivation.
Right, just take the idea. All right, now let's go back to a more differentiated movement, and that is a little bit freer. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take everything forward together, and then I'm going to leave the pelvis forward and just take the back. Oh, he likes that the best of anything I've done so far. And then the pelvis back. So everything forward together. And then the shoulder and the, but you see here, in this part, we're also making a differentiation. We're going to do it in a couple different ways. And then the pelvis back. And then we'll do it another way. We'll take everything forward. And then the pelvis back by itself. And then the chest back. And everything together. And then the pelvis. And then the chest. Now, I feel like for Ray, he needs me to touch his lower ribs a little bit more. So I'm going to go down there. And just clarify for him that ribs, and I think you guys should do this too, just clarify for yourself the difference between the top of the pelvis and the bottom of the ribs. With some people, their ribs and their pelvis are so close together that the ribs actually might even go underneath the pelvis. Julie will be going into this a little bit more with you next week, but anyway, just to feel this a bit. And then one more time, let's see about how the pelvis is coming along. Okay. A little bit more differentiation here. Pelvis, and the chest, and the pelvis. For the pelvis forward and the shoulder back. That's even more. And then bring the pelvis back. Okay, so differentiated and non-differentiated combinations. Now, I just don't, I mean, I'm cross-motivated. It means I'd like to work with you on the other side. Well, but no, you have a partner though, right? No, I know, but I don't want to take the class time. I want you guys to have time to do this. Who's your partner?
Trish.
Okay, so Trish, you work with both sides, and then we'll check back in with Ray at the end and find out what happened later. Okay, because the thing is, he said he feels this side, that this hip is clearer, but the other shoulder is clearer. So once I work with both sides, it would really be interesting. It would be different on the other side, and each side could help the other side, and we could come back, you see, like that. But then we would almost be close to a whole lesson. What would we have left out? Was there something else in order for it to be a whole lesson? I mean, the hips, shoulder, the ribs, turning, rotating around the vertical axis, one way and the other. The head. Yeah, I don't know how to work with heads, so we're not going to do that today. But, yeah. What?
Maybe it will turn up tomorrow.
No, it'll turn up in the end when you go back and you watch each other turn and look over one shoulder and the other. You'll put in your own head and eyes. The end. Okay. Yeah.
So
There is yes. I mean, I just went with the path of least resistance of his movement and his shoulder rolling forward. There was a little bit of things coming together and rolling backward. He got longer. Yes. Yeah. Can I just see you, Ray, one more time with feeling? Lie on your side for a second. Can I just see you roll from your side onto your back? And back. Okay, again. Interesting. All right, I'm back. Okay, good. Well, so it comes a little bit together when he comes forward, and you lead with your leg. That's what's interesting.
Yeah, I can find this. I'll leave my leg and yeah. That's can bring me up and things like that.
Okay.
It's that extension, so that does it for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Play both sides. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to work. So person A, work with, have your partner lie on the side they want to lie on, work 10, 12 minutes, 15 minutes on one side, work on the second side, stand up, go back, look at the turning, switch. So you're going to work a half hour each.
Same process?
Yeah, the one you just, because you already started the lesson when you watched them turn.